Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever this video finds you, I hope you're having a rad time. I'm the Figure Dude, and on today's action figure finds and unboxings, we take a look at my latest Target pickups. Without further ado, let's talk about some figures. Dude. Welcome back. Much like everyone else, I had finally found the Legends series, the Legends 18, I believe this is, and then I also found the AJ, the Bret, and the Razor. I went to one Target, I went to one Walmart, and I am recording this on Saturday the 15th. So Target is supposed to be doing their spring reset, redoing their shelves on the 16th. So I went to Target at 9:30 at night on the 15th, figuring they probably have some stuff set out, and I was right. The thing I was wrong about though was that they didn't have Razor and AJ at Target. I actually picked those up at Walmart, which I don't think I've really seen people picking them up there. And honestly, I don't really get Ultimates from Walmart. They seem to stock them just randomly. I've seen I've seen a few Ultimate Warriors. I think I saw one Lesnar at a Walmart, a couple Roman Reigns, but there it seems to be kind of spotty. So I still was just looking for the Ruthless Aggression figures there, which I have not found anywhere. I found one Ruthless Aggression shipper, and it had been cleaned out. The shelves on it were smashed. There wasn't a single figure left over. That was really disappointing. Only Ruthless Aggression shipper that I've found yet, but I am determined to track down that Kevin Nash. Determined to track down that Shelton Benjamin. They will be part of my collection. Anything Ruthless Aggression is going to be part of my collection. So that it really does add a little extra sting not being able to find those. But anyway, I'm going to talk about what I have here. So really excited to get these Ultimates. This AJ, obviously we got the new leg formula. We have the different torso, which I'm pretty sure it's not in the same shade as all his other figures or skin tone. We've got the all pink Bret Hart, which I did when I started collecting. I got the ringside exclusive all pink Bret Hart loose for I won it in an auction on eBay for $19, and I didn't really know about the prices or anything at that point when I got it. So I was like, oh cool, this Bret Hart, I need a Bret Hart for my collection. And it was loose. It's in good condition still. So it hasn't been one that I've had to track down, but I know a lot of people have paid a lot of money getting that, especially still mint on card. You'll get that with those ringside exclusives every now and then, but really excited for the Ultimate Edition release of this. And then the Ultimate Edition Razor, I wasn't sure about. I really want a WrestleMania 10 attire, and I don't dislike the attire we got, but I did recently, relatively recently, within the last 6 months, maybe we'll say, did make my own Ultimate Edition Razor, and I used the Shawn Michaels torso, which I'm pretty sure is bigger than the torso we got for Razor, which that in and of itself kind of throws me off because Razor is a much larger human than Shawn Michaels, but I'll compare them at the end so you can kind of see. Still excited for that Razor. I really like the head sculpts we got. And then obviously we've got the Legends here. So we've got Paulie dangerously from his WCW days. We get the ECW hat, but it's not an ECW Paul Heyman. It's WCW. It's Dangerous Alliance Paul Heyman, which I'm excited for. I love getting different versions of characters that we already have. And for some people, it's a deep cut. For me, I grew up watching Attitude Era, so that was past my time. But once I got older and I started going back, and then really when WWE Network became a thing, I watched everything. So for me, I don't feel like anything's too deep of a cut. I feel like everything that is everything's on the table. This Paulie is one I'm really excited for. And then lastly, the head shrinkers. So as I said, I grew up with the Attitude Era, but my dad had the WrestleMania 9 pay-per-view on VHS. That was a VHS, and we owned it, so that wasn't one that I went and rented, which is how I consumed a lot of my wrestling. I went and rented movies. But we owned the WrestleMania 9 VHS. I don't know how many times I watched that WrestleMania, and a lot of people regard it as one of the worst WrestleManias, but for me as a kid, Like, it was an outdoor stadium at Caesar's Palace. They had like the Caesar's Palace theme, so like everyone was wearing togas. Um, I mean, and it had Shawn Michaels. It had Lex Luger and Mr. Perfect. Those two fought, and I as a kid I was like, oh, these guys are like both perfect. This is such a cool match, even though I mean it really wasn't. Um, we had the Undertaker, and then he fought. That's the infamous match against Giant Gonzalez, where he wins by DQ because Giant Gonzalez used chloroform on him. But like as a kid, I watched Giant Gonzalez, and I thought he was just like this awesome looking dude in a weird furry suit. But then the Head Shrinkers, I'm pretty sure at WrestleMania 9 they fought the Steiner brothers. So I didn't know a lot about the Steiner brothers. For the longest time, I didn't realize that, like, that Scott Steiner and Rick, like, I recognized Rick Steiner, but I didn't realize that Scott Steiner, like, the Scott Steiner I knew, like, Big Papa Pump, was that Scott Steiner that had the long hair, that he didn't have his bleached hair, he had brown hair, who didn't have that facial hair. Like, I just thought, like, I thought Scott and Rick were the same person. It as a kid, it just really confused me. But I thought the Head Shrinkers were like, I thought they were terrifying, and I remember them coming out, and they came out with, I think it was Alpha of the Wild Samoans, who is dad or uncle. I mean, I don't remember. I don't know the family line perfectly, but the Head Shrinkers, I didn't think we were ever going to get from Mattel. It wasn't even like something on my mind for us to get. Like, obviously Rikishi we've gotten figures of, but we haven't gotten any flashbacks of Rikishi. I mean, technically he in and of itself was a flashback, but nothing past Attitude Era. And then Samu, I mean, I didn't even know he was on a Legends figure. I mean, Head Shrinkers was basically like some of his existence in WWE. So I just never thought it was going to be coming, let alone the chase figures we get of the Samoan SWAT team. These are just the regular ones, but I do want to get the Samoan SWAT team. So I want to get all these out, just look at them a little bit, and then I'll compare them. And I do want to talk about the height with the Head Shrinkers, because the heights for some of these Samoan figures that they've given us seem to just... we'll get there. Let's get everything out of the package, and then we'll talk about it. Alright, so first up here we have the Ultimate AJ, and like first impressions, since I saw this figure on display I think it was Comic-Con we saw it, or at least a digital render, I was really excited. I have wanted, as well as many others, I've wanted for a long time for them to give AJ bigger legs. Like, they gave him the skinny cruiserweight legs. I hate those. I don't think they're very representative of any of the guys. Really, the only person I think that just off the top of my head, like, my Finn Balor figures, he is super lean. So, with him, I think they're okay. But even then, like, they're not great. But anyway, AJ's had those legs. I'm glad they gave him bigger ones. I don't know if they're a new mold. My first thought was that they were the, like, Bobby Roode legs or the Bo Dallas legs. But those might have made him too tall. And I know, like, sometimes with the Ultimate Edition torsos, they, like, give him a little bit extra height anyway, so it's kind of hard to tell, but regardless, I really like it. We have the drop-down hips. The head scans, I like. It's hard to tell, for me, it's hard to tell if the actual scans themselves are different. Obviously, we have this scan with his hair waving. This is my favorite scan. Like, likeness. When these, I mean, hopefully I can get one of these cheaper or on clearance. AJ's always sell really well, so maybe his Ultimate won't sit. I would like, maybe I'll get one on like Black Friday though, and then do like a hair swap. We get the normal hands that we get with AJ. We've got the open hands, we've got the like phenomenal hands, and then we have the fisted hands. But the big thing that I noticed is the skin tone. So I did just grab, I think this is the most recent AJ that I have here. So every AJ we've gotten, every basic, every Showdown 2-pack, Battle Pack, Elite, has all had what are we doing here? There we go. They've all had. Come on. There we go. They've all had the tan skin tone, and let me get off the accessories. The accessories are awesome. They redid this vest, gave him the cloth hood with the jacket, which we've gotten a jacket, but it's had like the plastic hood, which was okay for the time. But I love just I love when they find new ways to make things, and this jacket is really cool. The shirt we got with him too is shorter, so it doesn't go way past his waist, so it looks good with the jacket. Um, but anyway, like I said, they changed his skin tone, and I don't know. I think that the tan skin tone, maybe it's just because I'm used to seeing him in the tan skin tone, but I don't know why they switched it up just for his ultimate. We've seen a render of, um, forget what Survivor Series. I don't know. We've seen a render of the newest Elite AJ is going to be in a red attire, and I'm pretty sure he has the tan skin tone again. So I don't know why they did that. It's kind of annoying because if I'm going to buy a bunch of new, or like if I get a bunch of AJs on clearance and decide to torso swap, I can't use the old heads or the old arms. So it's it's frustrating. I don't know, like I don't know why they did that. It's kind of like with Hogan, like they gave him that updated skin tone, but then they go back and forth on what one they're going to use, and I see that like with some of the tan figures. So like Triple H, there's like two different shades of tan. So like sometimes they're the like more red tan, sometimes they're the more like brown tan, but that's one thing. Like, it's really not a huge issue with Mattel. Jazz wears, it feels like every other figure we're getting is a different skin tone, but in this instance, this is something that is really frustrating. I know they're not thinking about customizers when they make figures, um, but nonetheless, like if I have them all lined up on my shelf, I want them to match, and they don't. The only other issue I had is quality issues, and so I did just want to take a look. So my AJ boot is super loose. Like it just spins around. The knee pad got stuck down in here, so I had to like pull it out with the tweezers, and you can see like there's some separation in the boot. Um, so it is super loose because the boot got warped, which is frustrating. It's just a weird thing that happens. I haven't seen it happen to anyone else. I've never had that happen on a figure before. And honestly, these, oh, I'll say the knee pads might be new, but it just looks a little bit different. I love that they gave us molded blue knee pads. Um, Overall, the figure is really, I love it. I think it's the best AJ we've gotten. I love the formula. It's just frustrating that it doesn't really translate over to his elites. So, enough AJ. We're going to move on. We have other stuff to look at. All right, next up we have the head shrinkers, and I threw Paulie in here. I'm not going to talk a ton about him. He does have the new suited body, um, at least up top. I'm pretty sure that's new. I think it's what we saw with the Mean Gene Build-A-Figure. I didn't try to take the arms off. I don't know if they're Build-A-Figure arms or not, but they are double jointed. I like the gray suit. I can definitely see myself buying as many of these as possible on clearance to make some suited figures, especially like an Attitude Era Vince McMahon. Um, I like the phone. Definitely going to super glue it. There's no chance that I don't lose this phone. So what I'm probably going to do is super glue the phone so it stays together because it does break away. And then I'm also going to glue it to this hand since we have swappable hands so that I don't lose the phone entirely. The phone is a big part of his whole Paul E. Dangerously gimmick in WCW. I don't want to lose it. Let's zoom in a little bit better there. So anyway, the or not Wild Simones, the head shrinkers. I talked about how I really like them. These are two of the coolest figures I feel like we've gotten in a long time. There's so many. We got like full entrance attire. We have the huge bamboo sticks. The head scans I think are spot on, especially that Samu figure. I think that looks so good. The legs. I'm trying to think who has used those legs. Those are ratchet joint legs. We did get, like, I think those are some Matt Riddle calves on them, which I'm pretty sure that is what they use on the Solo figure as well. Which I will talk, man, that Solo Sikoa Elite, just so much disappointment in that one. But honestly, we'll talk about it more. Like I said, we're going to talk about some of the other Samoan figures we've gotten because I looked at the build heights. I did look up some pictures. So honestly, the builds that we got for these guys, I don't think the torsos are new. I think they're the. Let me take a closer inspection here. I think they're the one that we have had. Well, maybe not. I think it's the torso that we've had before with older wrestlers, that like barrel chested torso they like to give to, like Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Um, Bobby Heenan has that torso under his attires. Um, nope. I think this is newly sculpted because it has no abs. Like there's no ab definition really. And the other one, while it's thick, it still has like some ab definition to it. So it does look new ish, and it just makes me wonder, why did they not use like this torso for Solo Sikoa? Um, the Samoans, they have a very wide range of body part choices that they've used, but they like they all kind of have the same build where they're just real big dudes. They're thick dudes. They're not necessarily like just straight up like fat dudes. They're just like Samoans are just built scary, and I feel like not everything captures that. These figures by themselves in a vacuum, I think, are fantastic. Um, when I start comparing them to some of the other figures we have, though, maybe not as big of an issue with these. Like comparing these height wise to other figures, I think they're pretty good. And all like the accessories are awesome. I'm gonna get Paul out of here for a second. So I did look up the build heights of these guys. So I'm gonna try and get them standing up as straight as possible. Get the heads on sitting where they need to be. So Samu is billed at 6'4". Fatu was billed at 6'2". So I mean, give or take with the hair, you can decide whether or not you think those are on. Okay, so Samu 6'4", Fatu or Rikishi is 6'1". You can see here this Rikishi figure shorter. Okay, it's not even like a notice or like a barely difference. He's definitely shorter. I'll zoom out a little bit. You can see it a little bit better there. They're all on like the same plane. They're not really scooted up. So you can see Rikishi is a bit shorter here than even his figure next to him. And like scale wise, like his legs are ginormous. His torso's huge. He was in better shape as a head shrinker and during the New Gen era. He did get a little bit bigger, but like he had health problems. And then obviously we all know Rikishi. So he was slimmer. So I can forgive that. But then when we bring in the Wild Samoan figures that we got, which them again, like I thought these were pretty cool when we got. I did look up their build heights. They were both built at 6'2". So I'm gonna move Rikishi out of here. So these guys should be 1 inch taller than Fatu, and 2 inches shorter than Samu. This is one thing that kind of bothers me is this body. I don't hate the torso. I like how the torso looks, but it's too big. Like and then the legs, the thighs, even if they gave them smaller thighs, it would look so much better. But these figures are huge. Like these guys are 6'2". It's not terrible, but the scale that they're at here makes them more like 6'4", 5, 6, like 6'6" range. And then like the hair too. Obviously they have the froze on top that make it look a little bit taller, but they're really big. And then I wanted to get Umaga in here because he is 6'3". I think 6'4". At least build wise. And I just wanted to put him in here as well. And you can see they use the Wild Samoan torso for these guys. Like, they just used the full-on Umaga formula for the Wild Samoan, so that's why they're like that. But at the same time, if you go look at pictures and they're like the build between these guys, like the head shrinkers shouldn't be this skinny. I think it would have looked a lot better with thicker legs. The torso, I even could have gotten by with that, but I don't know. Like, I really, really like how the figures look, but scale wise, I think they need to kind of redo, and they're not going to go back and fix all the Samoan guys so that they look like better together. And then of course, like I said, we've got the Solo Sikoa figure coming, and that one is unforgivable. I think that is one of the worst formulas Mattel has given us aesthetically. Like the shorts, like everything looks like it's supposed to, but that man is so skinny. And at the very least, I think we could have gotten like an Usos formula when they wore their surfer trunks or whatever. Man, yeah, I'm gonna make like a full video talking just about Solo Sikoa, because that figure just straight up upsets me. But there, that is the head shrinkers. Again, I really like them. If you're gonna put them all up next to each other with the rest of their Samoan family, I don't think they fit in the best, but to each their own. I think they're good pickups. Next up, we have the Razor Ramon Ultimate, and getting this out of package, I really, really like these head scans. Seeing them in person it's always different seeing stuff in person. I thought the renders were a little bit weird. Like the likeness wasn't spot on. And then like watching other reviews, still it was kind of hard to tell. But in person, so the head that I put on him, I love. I think this is a perfect Razor Ramon. I mean, it could pass. Like, it really for me just doesn't fit like the WCW Scott Hall as much. That like strand down in the front, I think that is a spot on Razor Ramon. I really, really like this figure. The other head scans, I think this one is pretty good. And then this is the one that came on him. I think this one's okay. I think it looks kind of weird. The hands again, it's kind of just, we got fists, we got the like entrance surfer hands, and then just some open hands and then he's got his thumbs up. We also got the Intercontinental belt down there, which we've seen a bunch of times, but the only thing I really wanted to talk about with this was the torso, and the arms are super skinny. I don't like that. They've always given him skinny arms, and like, he wasn't a skinny guy. He looked slim for his frame, but like Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, he was a huge dude. Like, he was a really big dude. And like, he was slimmer when he went back like towards the end of WCW and whatnot. Like, he had health problems though. He had plenty of struggles. That's why he was slimmer. When he was Razor Ramon, when he was in WCW originally as like Diamond Stud, he was jacked. So I'm not a huge fan. I mean, I'll get it out. I'll show you my custom Ultimate, just so you can see them next to each other, and the head scans blow away the old ones that we have. So I am definitely not complaining there. But the torso, I'm pretty sure it's the same torso AJ Styles has. So maybe that's what I'll do. I'll just swap all these Razor Ramon torsos onto my Elite AJ Styles, and I'll just slap an AJ Styles decal on there. But here's the Ultimate that we just got. Here is the Ultimate that I made with the Shawn Michaels torso. So I didn't change. I just took a Razor figure, gave him new boots. So look how big mine is compared to the one we got officially. I feel like Razor is a big guy. The torso, that Shawn Michaels torso is bigger. I think that fits better. And you can see I gave him skinny arms as well. But with the Ultimates, like, you can't make the big the big arms on little shoulders is going to look weird. So that's kind of something I got to work around. But I think the legs even are different. It looks like we have different. Oh, maybe it's just the knee pads. Anyway, I feel like the torso choice is a little too small for Razor, but the head is beautiful. That like the head scan that's on is fantastic. I'll say it every time. The true effects with a beard or just like a shadow of a beard looks so good. Um, but I will. The other thing, I'm gonna go grab my Shawn Michaels figure so you can see them next to each other. Shawn Michaels and Razor should not be the same size, and I'm almost positive that they're gonna be about the same height, and Michaels gonna look bigger. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I grabbed the Ultimate Diesel that we got. I want to put them next to each other. They're click buddies, and I think Razor's way too short. Um, they're both huge guys. Um, I didn't look up the build height. I started to, um, but now I'm starting to second guess myself on the heights. Scott Hall build height. Let me see. Let me see what the old Google says here real quick. Scott Hall was 6'7". He is not 6'7" in figure form right here. Kevin Nash build height. Oh, Kevin Nash is 6'10", so everyone should look short next to him. But then here's an ultimate I have. So here's a torso swap. It's a Shawn Michaels figure, and the only it was a Shawn Michaels Elite, so same formula. I just swapped on the torso, and Shawn Michaels is not tall. Um, I don't remember exactly what his height is, but he's nowhere near 6'7", and you can see on the figure here, he's essentially the same height as Razor. So that is something that I think that's a little bit frustrating. Like, I think a swap of their torsos would be a good choice. Give like not the it's not super defined, but he still has like some like size to him. So that's a little frustrating. I know. I mean, sure, we'll probably end up getting some Shawn Michaels redos because they're gonna start adding butterfly joints, and they're gonna shoot, we got butterfly joints on that one. I think they're just gonna, the more we get Ultimate torsos, the more they're gonna go back and repeat. So it's not something I'm gonna get real upset about, but at the same time, like, maybe we should have used this torso. Maybe we should have just gone with a different torso. And to wrap things up, we have the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. We've got Bret Hart, and this one, just out of package, really, really like it. I like the formula they give us for the Ultimate Bretts. I'm pretty sure it's the same legs, so the legs are a little bigger. Well, I'm holding his first Ultimate in my hand right here. And it does have bigger legs. And now that I look at this Ultimate, I feel like I'm not quite sure, but we did get the Elite 94 head scan here, which I think is one of the best head scans we've gotten for Bret. I really, really like that one. I really like that Elite 94 figure, even though like the Bret Hart figures themselves aren't like massive differences. They're all pink and black. They've all got some sort of combination of pink and black on the top, black on the bottom, mix whatever. Really don't get a lot of difference, like a lot of straying from that pattern, which is fine. Like, Bret Hart has plenty of moments, like different iconic moments that we can go to for attires. Not a huge deal. I really like that we get the all pink. We get the all pink jacket. We get the swappable arms. I really like that feature with the Ultimates. The extra head scan we get, I never know. I don't know if it's a new head or not. I mean, it looks fine. Again, like, Mattel has never nailed Bret Hart, I don't feel like. And even the Jax figure I had as a kid, like, I didn't think it really looked like Bret Hart, and I thought that as a kid that didn't really care about the likeness. So maybe it's just something about Bret Hart's face that he just doesn't have like defining characteristics that really make him stick out. But overall, I guess I really like what I see. I'll swap stuff off here to take a little bit closer look. I don't like how he looks without the shades. I think his hair looks a little bit funny. And then I will compare. So I think this looks like he's got an entirely different formula, and I don't hate it. And also, so they are in the midst of releasing his first Ultimate Edition figure, um, in the like Best of Ultimates line. So you can still go back. You can get that one for just normal retail price now, which I think is kind of cool. Obviously, he doesn't have the same bells and whistles as he does on this one. So you'll see here, this one is a little smaller. He's got a different torso. The torso is smaller. This one, honestly, it's okay that they redid the torso. This one doesn't look great. Um, like, kind of sticks out weird. But then I do like the head scan a lot on that old Ultimate Edition, and you can see he does have bigger legs. They're thicker legs, and I don't know. I think either way, I don't think I have a huge preference. Um, I think they both look pretty good. I do like the torso on the new one more. Again, it's small. I don't know if that's something they're trying to do is just go like get them in a better scale. Um, some of their torsos have been like the Batista torso. I think it worked for Batista, but like it's humongous. So like maybe that was an issue, was that the Ultimate torsos were too big. So maybe that's something that they're trying to fix. I've seen a lot of people have crooked logos, and I'm starting to wonder now if it's supposed to be like that, because I swear I've seen like handfuls. I've seen dozens of people with the crooked logo saying it's a quality control issue, and I don't know. Maybe it's just supposed to be like that. But overall, I think it's a nice. I won't say re-release, but it's a nice second rendition of Bret for the Ultimate line. We are getting the Ultimate Rock figure. I'm really excited for that. I am definitely going to be putting that torso on the Hollywood Elite we just got. I like that it has a slimmer torso, and I think that is going to fit those like early 2000 Rock figures really really well, because he slimmed down, but I'll talk about that when we get there. Anyway, Bret is nice. I don't need to get everything back on here. I've talked about everything enough. So that is going to be everything for today's action figure find and unboxing. I have a lot of other action figure finds and unboxings of all sorts. I've got huge boxes. I've got huge hauls from Target like we had today. I've got a bunch of stuff. So if you like what we're doing here, go check out those playlists as well as the other videos we have on the channel. Please like, share, subscribe, and remember, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy more action figures. Figure Dude out.